It's time for another installment of the basics, and on today's show I want to take you back to Magic the Gathering and talk a bit about the color white. Now, if you've seen any previous episodes of this show, you would know that I've talked a lot of smack about the color white in Magic the Gathering, but I have something good to say about it today, as there are a certain type of cards which are excellent if you want to build a white deck and play with it. And I'm going to show you what those are. Now, before I get started, I'd just like to say that I stand by my previous comments on the color white, as it is not the best color to make a deck with, but if you have to or if you want to, the type of cards that you want to include in this deck you're building is what's known as the Circle of Protection. And in this Circle of Protection, you get protection from any other color in the game. And when you play these cards, what they do is they prevent all damage to you from a green source, or a red source, or a blue source, or a black source, whatever your opponent's playing. They don't cost much to bring out. They literally only cost 2 mana. If you're going to do it, you'd have about 3 to 4 copies in your deck. I would suggest 2 for each color, depending on what your opponent's going to do, because you don't really know. Now, I've never mentioned these cards before, mainly because I rarely play with a white deck, and my white deck is made to stalemate. It's not made to win. It's not that kind of a deck. So I wanted to tell you about these today because some people have gotten negative vibes about the white color, and I completely forgot about the Circle of Protection. But in that sense, if you're going to build a deck based on Circle of Protection in white, you also want to include another card, and that is Restrain. So that costs 3 mana to bring out, and what it does is prevents all combat damage that would be dealt by target attacking creature this turn. Draw a card. That could be very helpful in your deck if you have 4 copies of this in your deck. One of the things you want to try to do with a white deck is to prevent combat damage and make sure that you have adequate walls. And by using Circle of Protection and by using Restrain, you might actually win a game with this deck. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say I'm a hypocrite for all of a sudden plugging white when I've said before not to use it and then it's a weaker color. You have to understand that in all the years I've been playing Magic, I'm used to using red or black, sometimes blue. Those are my favorite colors to use, pretty much, is either red or black. They have the best cards in Magic. A white deck can be fun, but it just doesn't compare with red and black. However, if you are going to build a white deck, and as I mentioned before, I do have a white deck, you want to use the Circle of Protection and Restrain. It's that simple. And that's all I have to say on the matter. Have a great night.